So let's talk about the current work environment when in regards to autonomy. So work from anywhere versus on site.
Now, it's obviously a very important topic right now, and I think one of the things that you just said that I found really interesting, which I think is key, it really is work from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So work from home is kind of what people term, but there's scenarios where people are going down to Panama City, Central America, Europe, in certain locations because they can work completely remote. So it's created a completely different environment in terms of supply and demand, and even the cost of home prices in certain places and rents. So relevant to that, what we've seen in the last couple of years since the pandemic hit, it's really kind of three types of perspective. There are companies and some of our previous clients that are really not very open to change. They've had a culture and environment where people were on site 5 days a week. Even scenarios where at those companies they're driving, commuting longer distances, which people are more or less willing to do, I think, earlier in their career, and is depending on where they're at in their career. And I think that's a tough position to take.
Yeah, especially after the pandemic has really affected all of us.
Right. An immediate example that kind of comes to mind when you really look at Blockbuster Video and Netflix, right? They could have bought Netflix for somewhere around $50-60 million, which would have been a steal today, but they chose to stay with their current business model and they don't exist anymore, right? So having an understanding of the marketplace and adaptability is extremely important. The other complete opposite of that, you see companies that are actually targeting their competition's talent by giving more autonomy and giving 100% remote positions or remote positions with minimal travel. So that is a huge disruption in the marketplace for those that take the first position, and even companies that consider hybrid. And then there are companies that are, I think, still trying to figure it out. When you think about, well, what are the legal ramifications of letting this department or this particular support group be remote? But then obviously if you're in production or other areas, it's really hard to be able to do. You can't do those positions remotely. So they are embracing autonomy and giving hybrid roles, but are probably not going to go to the 100% remote model. So that's kind of what we've seen in the marketplace over the last 2 years.